card game based on the Battle of Waterloo. Does this make me an official wargamer? Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we are taking a look at 1815 Scum of the Earth. This is by Tristan Hall and Hall or Nothing Productions, and this is his HEBS system, Historic Epic Battle System. So this, as you can see, covers the Battle of Waterloo, essentially the English against Napoleon after he escaped from exile back in 1815. This is a 1 to 2 player card game. Almost everything that we're going to see in here is cards. Honestly, this box is bigger than I was expecting. Tristan and Hall or Nothing Productions, we have covered a lot of his Killforth series on the channel. And I did not initially back this one on Kickstarter. I wasn't sure if I would be into the historic battle theme versus like a fantasy theme like Killforth is. But after watching some videos and keeping up with the campaign, I regretted not backing it, and so I pre-ordered it from my friendly local game store, and it just now finally came in. I don't know what the delay was. I think that currently this is pretty hard to find, but this same system, this HEBS system, can be found in two other products, 1516 St. Elmo's Pay and 1066 Tears to Many Mothers, which I know that first one, or the first one in the series, 1066, I have seen that one more in stores, and I think I've even seen it on Amazon. So if you like what you see and you're not picky about the particular battle that's being represented, then by all means, go check it out. Otherwise, keep an eye out for this one. I'm sure it'll come back in print at some point. Oh, wow, that was a tight lid. Okay, so again, most everything we're going to see in here is going to be cards. But here we can take a look at, this is his kind of flagship game series, is the Killforth series. Gloom of Killforth, Shadows of Killforth, and then later on this year we will be showing off Call of Killforth. Then he's got his Valwraith Odyssey games, which are dungeon crawlers. He just finished up Creel Manor. Here you can see the Kickstarter just finished up for this. I believe you could still get in on a late pledge, so keep your eye out for that. And here you can see 1066 Tears to Many Mothers. This is the Battle of Hastings. And we've got the Siege of Malta, and then the Battle of Waterloo. So these are all ooh, and this is interesting. I've never even seen this. Lifeform. Oh, Rift Symphony coming soon. Did not even know that was a thing. All right, and Sublime Dark. Okay, enough about his catalog. So we've got the standard rulebook here, nice big rulebook. We have a flow chart for the solo mode, which is really nice. Deployment flow chart, character flow chart, and then the turn flow chart. So this can be played solo, and that's probably where I'll be playing it most. These are basically just tokens that are going to help you show how much ammunition your artillery has, or if you get +1 might, or +1 what's the cross, zeal or something like that, valor. These are the two main attributes that you're looking for, and then a first player token. So not a ton of cardboard, and here you can see it's negatives on the backside, and these are mired tokens. So cannonballs on one side, mired on the other. You can flood a site essentially, or a unit, and it's like stunning them essentially. Then we have rules specifically for solo play. Not too bad here. It's pretty much just telling you how you go about deciding the card to go out and where it goes into play. And then we've got a whole big old box of some tokens, which are really nice. These are wooden tokens. And so what you have here is essentially just some 1s and 3s. Yeah, 1s with nothing on it and some 3s. These are going to put damage counters, and you have blue and red. One side's blue, one side's red. French will be blue, English will be red. And then there's actually a third faction. The Prussians, who were involved in the conflict as well, you can pick them up, and I guess they've already gone ahead and given you the contents for that, because the Prussia expansion is literally just a deck box of cards. We have some more baggies for our tokens. This wheel here is going to be utilized in the solo game, which, there you go, here's one. So essentially it's just very straightforward. It tells you the game round you're in, and then you're going to pick a level of difficulty at the beginning. You know, if you're starting on easy, they actually get -1 at the beginning of the game, so they don't even start being able to really do much until, bam, there it is, around 5. But that's on easy. You know, normal you're still getting till around 3, I think, but they can play 0 cost cards up to that, and then it's not until around 4 that they can start playing more than that. But that's all this is. But it's a very straightforward system. I think the 1066 version did not come with this. I think they may have created one that you can buy separately. It's very easy to track, and you know, you could just print out an Excel sheet and highlight the row you're going to do. This just tightens it up a little bit. All right, and then we have 2 large deck of cards. Like I said, I was very surprised at the size of the box that this came in, because this is what I was expecting. Just 2 large decks of cards, one for the English, one for the French. So let's take a close look at these. All right, so essentially these 2 decks are very similar. The art's going to be different, but they're balanced. You have your main deck of the cards you're going to be playing. You have your objectives here that we'll look at in a second, but I just real quick wanted to cover, there's some extra cards in here, some of which I was expecting, some of which I was not, and a couple I don't even know what to do with. So there are, first of all, if you are a Killforth fan, there's 3 cards in here that you can mix into any one of the Killforths. And so these are, you know, the pictures and whatnot are themed towards this kind of stuff. So but you would see these just can mix right in with any of your Killforth games. So we'll pick one of those to mix in. Also says these are some replacements for 1565. So yeah, there we go. These appear to be the fields of battle. Okay. So yeah, these go with them. All right, that makes sense. Okay, and it says if you own the second print run of St. Elmo's Pay, you already have these. Okay, so nothing we need there, because I'm sure if I do pick up that one, it would be the second print run. All right, let's start with these guys here. We have the leader cards. So these are actually double-sided. The Prussian leader is on the backside of the English leader, and then the French have 2, Napoleon and Michael or Michel Ney. So these are always going to start in your field, out in your field, and they're the one card that if they're taken out, the opposing player that took them out wins the game. Otherwise, they're going to give you a lot of, you know, actions, various setups, stuff like that, and you keep them alive. They're your leader cards. But let's look at what we've got here on the card. So this would be the cost. They don't cost anything. This is their zeal, I believe it is, versus their might. So their charisma versus their might. These 2 stats are important for defeating objectives, and then the final locations, which we'll see here shortly. And then here is the health of the card. And that's pretty much it. He's got some action down here and then a little bit of flavor text, which is really cool for games like this that you know actually happened. All right, let's... Okay, see, I see what I did here. These are your frontiers. So I had been looking at them like this, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. They should have names. But these are for playing with the other games. But here are your three battle fronts. The Chateau de Hogmont, La Haye Sainte Farm, and Papelot Farm. I probably butchered those. I apologize. So these represent kind of the three rows that you're going to be playing cards into, and then you can have 3 columns outside of each row for 9 cards total in your battlefield. Otherwise, this just represents the amount of damage they need to take before you can claim them. First person to claim 2 out of 3 wins the game. All right. Then let's take a look here. I'm just going to kind of pick one side here. So you have your objective cards. These are always going to be in order, and they tell the story, which is what makes these games cool, because you feel like you're reliving it. So first of all, we're talking about him escaping from exile. This is going to automatically just be up there for 1 turn. Then it's destroyed automatically. But then you move here, and then you have kill your emperor. Okay. So in here, it says you're battling Zeal, and it gives you a when destroyed, or if you're playing solo, when destroyed. All this is telling you is that you have to hit this thing for at least 2 Zeal. Remember, people on the battlefield already have some Zeal, and then you're going to add other players. So this person, that would not be correct, but if you had Napoleon here, he would automatically give you 2. Or let's say Michel Ney would provide you 3. Well, so you have officially put progress towards this objective, and so you simply take the difference. In this case, it would be 1, so you would put 1 of your, in this case, blue little counters on this objective. The reason you have blue versus red versus black is for when you're placing them here on these cards in the center. But once you have put 7 damage tokens on this, it's destroyed, and you move on to the next. So I'm not going to go through all these because I don't want to kind of spoil, even though it's a historical battle. You can go look it up on Wikipedia. But so yeah, those objectives sit off to the side, and then the rest of your deck is basically this, which is shuffled up, and you're just drawing hand limit of 6, drawing 2 cards a turn roughly. They have some variants there, but that's it. You decide what cards you want to play. You keep going back and forth until you've kind of decided that, oh, I'm done playing, and I'm done playing, and then you kind of fire at each other, and then you move into a new round. You draw back up your hand, things like that. So we've got attachments. These obviously would be, attached to somebody. I don't know whether these are shuffled. Probably not. It looks like all the attachments are on the bottom. So then you have some characters here. This person would obviously go out on the battlefield. He's not giving you much. I don't know what his... When played, if you dealt damage this round, this card gains +1 might. Okay. But he's free. Let's look at somebody more interesting. So here's a perfect one. So he has a action that fires off when he's played. He also has some stats that would work well. He costs 3, and we'll get to how you pay for these in a second. But he also has this one resource, which if he's on the battlefield and alive, you can exhaust him. It's called tiring in this game, which is turning it sideways. You can exhaust him to gain that resource, which again is payment towards playing other cards out of your hand. If you don't have enough characters like this already on the battlefield, you essentially have to discard cards out of your hand to equal 1 resource. So if I wanted to play this guy, I would have to discard 3 cards out of my hand. I'm never going to see them again. They're gone for the rest of the game. And I get to play this card. I am really starting to enjoy that system where you have to make choices as to what cards are you willing to get rid of to play the card you want. Tough decisions like that. It's obviously become very popular with Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight Games, and that's where I see it the most, but I'm starting to see this system pop up more and more, this mechanic pop up more and more in games, which I just appreciate, that tough decision and the ease of which this is how you pay for a card. You just discard other cards. So yeah, otherwise, you know, there are going to be things like events here, so you still have to pay for them. This one's quite expensive, but you simply play the event. It doesn't go out onto the battlefield. You resolve it, and we're done. Let's see, tactics cards. These are going to go out and actually, so like this one says set up reserves. This one actually starts on the battlefield off to the side, and then you can use this action as one of your turns during a round. You would exhaust it and get to do that action. So tactics cards you can play down, and then they just kind of stay there. And then you have these things like the artillery units, which are similar to characters. They're going to stay out on the battlefield, but you know, the more you stack them up, these ones you're going to be putting cannon tokens on. These are the ones that are going to be firing across and trying to deal damage to other units on the other side, things like that. So that's pretty much it. Here's cavalry, infantry. What else do we got here? Cavalry, more cavalry, infantry, infantry elite, the old guard. So yeah, there you go. Essentially pretty much the same thing in here. It's just not called the French artillery, it's called the English artillery. Maybe it's called something, maybe they call it something different. The flavor text is different. The stats are probably balanced enough. But that's it. That's the beauty of it. This box is way too big, in my opinion. I think that this game is going to be amazing, and I am perfectly happy with what I got in the box. I don't understand why it's so big. But, so yes, this is 1815 Scum of the Earth. Everything is going to be played out with just cards and the few tokens that we already took a look at. This is a very travel-friendly game. It's a game you can play head-to-head with someone, or it's a game you can play solo. You can play both sides solo, or if you get the Prussian expansion, you can play as that one, so you don't always have to play against Napoleon or things like that. And also, at the end of the day, I feel like I'm going to be that much more... I'm going to know that much more about the Battle of Waterloo. I roughly know what happened, but I'm no scholar. But I am really just interested to read the flavor text on these cards. More than most other cards that I play a game with, most of the time I just ignore the flavor text. But this one I'm actually interested in playing, just to kind of get a feel for, through the objective cards and the flavor text, how this battle played out. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments section below. Most likely a how to play video for this certainly will be coming. If you're interested in a playthrough, please let me know in the comments so I can consider that as a video to put out in the future. Other than that, once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.